Happy winter. Well, meteorological winter, that is, that began on December 1st. There are some in the weather community that I was reading late on Friday night that are trying to make a push to make that the official start to winter. We do it for a statistical standpoint. It's much easier to do the stats when you do December, January, February, but it kind of does make sense here. That's coming up here.
That dog right there looked like it was happy for meteorological winter. I don't know about you.
I don't know. I think the dog doesn't know what day it is, just knows it's excited. That was an avalanche dog from, I think it was Arapahoe Basin in Colorado. So shout out to the dog right there. We always seem to show animal video when it snows, too.
It makes everybody happy. But for some people, they are happy. It's meteorological winter. So let's talk about that because it's here. And for us, again, keeping statistics, that's December, January, and February. So if we talk about that, of course, we're not going to see the official start of winter for another couple of weeks. But we did have some records for fall. The driest fall season in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. That was at 2.01 inches. Now, check this out. The season average is at about 12.5 inches. So pretty big deal there. And we even in parts of Florida saw a huge amount of rain within the fall season. The average is 15, so it's more than double in Melbourne, and a lot of that had to do with the hurricane season and having some of those storms move in. We were talking a lot about that, and again, we always are keeping our eye on the different areas across the country, especially during hurricane season. When you get storms like that, we really can see those totals come up. But then something else, the warmest fall season in Islip, New York, 58.7 degrees. The old record was 58.6, and even in parts of Maine, we did see the record warmth for the season. So I guess the big question for us now is how many more records are we going to set as we get into winter season officially? But here's another one for you for record dry month in New Orleans. The old record was 0.21 inches back in 1949. So we have the jet stream right now hanging out a little bit more further to the north. We've been talking about the Arctic blast, the Canadian blast, that cold air coming down. Right now that jet stream is staying pretty far north, but as Steve is about to show us, we are going to see another dip in it. We'll find out when it's going to arrive, Steve, and some southern places that looks like they could even get some snow.
Right, yeah, very interesting where the snow sets up. That's part of the forecast. It does look like, again, this cold pool of air that's kind of been locked up to the north really starts to plunge down to the south, beginning on Tuesday for a lot of us. Then it kind of sits around for a lot of the upcoming week. Of course, it's coldest closer to the Great Lakes, upper Midwest, and Northeast. It's more modified as you get down to the Gulf Coast states, but you'll notice it definitely down there, and definitely you'll notice it by about Thursday and Friday, toward the end of the upcoming week. So as we look at the upcoming week, the blues indicate your chances of cooler than average temperatures, and it really goes through a lot of the eastern two-thirds of the country, with the exception of Maine as it appears right now. And then the warmer weather's out into the western sections. We'll have to watch that fire concern there across central southern California. A lot of the west coast dry. That's something you usually see in this pattern this time of the year, and a little bit wetter across the south, which is good because we got to actually use that in terms of some drought conditions there. So on Monday, I want you to watch a couple of places here into the upper Midwest from about, I will say, Bemidji to St. Paul and down to right around even Scottsbluff, because we could have some moderate snow there on Monday morning that may cause some delays. And it kind of wraps up into Canada after that. Not a lot coming into the south. It's a rain event there for you on Tuesday into Wednesday, but really by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we really start to feel the wind chill coming off the Great Lakes. So we'll show you some numbers here, but you have to take into consideration the wind and also our our overnight temperatures, which will be in the teens to single digits across our coldest section. So we're 63 on Monday in Chicago, 70 in St. Louis, 63 Cincinnati, and then we're down to 26 for the high in Minneapolis on Tuesday. But when you factor in the wind, it'll most likely feel like the teens for a lot of the day. And again, down to the south, Houston will be at 59 on Wednesday. That's pretty cool for New Orleans at 59, 52 Atlanta, and 29 in Chicago. And then by Thursday, 56 Tallahassee, 64 Orlando. That's when you start to notice that with maybe some boot weather getting brought out there in parts of Florida. Also, we could have some lake effects now. It's kind of a pattern that we get it in places like Buffalo, New York, and nearby Cleveland, Ohio. All right, Meredith has a very exciting news to tell us here after the break. We are talking about the newest satellite that is getting shipped, and Meredith will have exclusive coverage.
Welcome back here to Weather Nation, talking about that southeast regional forecast, and we're officially now in meteorological winter. What does that mean? Well, it runs from December 1st through the end of February, and it's the time of year where weather records are kept for the winter season. So again, that runs through the months of December, January, and February, which means we just finished up with meteorological fall, which is September, October, November. So some reports coming in from meteorological fall, one of which out of Melbourne, Florida, the wettest fall season on record. So the wettest 3-month period for the fall months on record in terms of rainfall. With respect to that, close to 37 inches of rain. I mean, this was well above the average. The average seasonal rainfall for September, October, November is close to 15.5 inches. We were over 20 inches above that. But again, it was a fairly active tropical season. A lot of that rainfall fell during the months of September. Now, since then, it has been drying out for the most part, and it's been dry recently, not much rainfall to report. We'll begin to enter more of a soggier pattern here, if you will, as we move over the next several days, especially once you get beyond the weekend and into next week. A cold front will come through, and that will result in some more rainfall for some areas here into the southeast down the road. In the meantime, it was quiet. It's been bright out there, too. Lots of sunshine. High pressure has been in control. 60s, 70s, 80s for high temperatures into the southeast just from your Friday afternoon. Moving into Saturday morning, though, those temperatures to the north are cooling down a little bit into the lower 40s. Raleigh at 40 degrees for a morning low, but down to the south across the Gulf Coast, temperatures into the 50s, 60s across the Florida Peninsula, and even 70s there from West Palm Beach down to Miami. Typically a much warmer for the south you go, but over the southeast, keeping lots of the clear skies in place there for your Saturday, and Saturday afternoon looking to be pretty quiet too. Some clouds may filter out some of that sunshine across the southeastern states, especially from the Carolinas into Georgia, but as you go westward toward Mississippi and Alabama, looking at a lot more sunshine that will prevail through the course of the day, and with that will result in some warmer temperatures too. Winds coming in from the south there, from Mobile out toward Jackson. That will result in temperatures rising to the 60s and 70s for highs, upper 60s and 70s for highs. Typically across areas like Birmingham, this time of year, you're running to lower 60s, right around 60 degrees for your average temperature. Down to the south, across Florida, 80s for temperatures there. And with high pressure in control, that means we are not concerned much about that risk of rain or thunderstorms into the southeast region. Through Sundays, we end out the weekend. That beautiful stretch of weather continues here to the southeast. Again, a lot more clear skies, quiet weather, and warmer temperatures in place. As you begin to see more of a stronger southerly flow, we'll begin to increase some humidity out there, increase the moisture in place across our southern states, and also increase some of the temperatures too. So areas like Mobile to Jackson maintaining your temperatures into the lower 70s, 80s across much of Florida, upper and mid 60s further to the north, like Atlanta down to Macon. Temperatures will be running to the 60s, and quiet too. So that thunderstorm risk, we're not concerned about that here at this point. But as we move into your late Monday, and especially the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, this will be the beginning of a pattern change that'll be with us here as we move into the next few days. So by Tuesday, you can see that front coming in from the northwest that will result in some rain showers there across the Mississippi River Valley, and then eastward into the southeast region. As you move later in time, you'll begin to see that there. So temperatures here warming up to the 60s and mid 70s. Jackson at 77 degrees before that front comes through. And as we go through the course of your Tuesday into Wednesday, you can see the colder temperatures to the north will be making a return back into the southeast region. and there it is with time. We'll begin to see that beyond the Tuesday time frame. So Wednesday, Thursday, will be a lot more rain chances there into the southeast. It's drying out, though, as it makes its way southeast with time, too. So with that said, most of the southeast region between now and Tuesday, dry as well. Lots of sunshine will continue. Most of that rain by Tuesday will be making it across parts of Arkansas and to northwestern areas of Mississippi. But before now and then, it's going to be quiet and fairly mild, too, before that front slides through. And that takes place Tuesday into Wednesday. There's that drop. Look at Atlanta. Wow, this is impressive. 68 degrees on Tuesday, well above average. Cooling down to the lower 50s on Wednesday, and then by Thursday morning, those temperatures within the city of Atlanta close to that freezing point before a high next Thursday of 47 degrees. Jackson, Mississippi sees that temperature drop too from 72 to 53. We are cooling off by nearly 20 degrees over a 24-hour period.
Welcome back to Weather Nation. We are very excited because one of the satellites that we use pretty much every single day to help give you the forecast, the second of its kind, will be heading up to space in the spring of 2018, and we are going to give you a look as it heads toward its final place before launch as we get into March.
Well, right. We've been telling you a lot about the GOES-R satellite,
Yes.
and this is the next in a series. Well, this is interesting. This is the last image that GOES-R took because it's getting repositioned into a certain latitude, longitude spot that it's going to become GOES East, which will become our new operational, kind of taking over for the old one. But that was earlier this week where we had that last image. But this is the newest satellites, and you've been covering this a lot, Meredith, about the satellites. GOES-S, so, I mean, for people at home, why is this a big deal?
You know, it's a big deal because this is a satellite that is going to be on the other part, helping cover the entire Western Hemisphere. So if you think about it, that's a big area to cover, but these are geostationary, which means they rotate around the Earth at the same time that the Earth is rotating. So typically you're getting a 3D look of the Earth from these satellites that are above, but this one is going to be newer. So we are talking 5 times faster getting that information in, which is going to help us with severe weather, but also for hurricane forecasting.
And we have some images here, if we continue to roll on just a few of them, of what so far the GOES-R has already done. Again, the one that's already up there for about the past year, and that was the launch of the JPSS satellite, another orbiting satellite this year where you could see it. So you get very good clarity. And just to show you the water vapor loop here, what we normally see, again, this stuff helps us out because it shows us a lot of the images from space, and it helps us to, again, really kind of dissect that weather.
And another thing is it's so crisp. I mean, you're talking about getting very, very precise information fast. So when fires start, like the ones that we saw in California, this information is so crisp that it picks up on hot spots like you see here. So we'll know before that fire starts to spread where it's at. And also the National Weather Services can get on the phone with the firefighters in those counties and tell them, here's where it's at, here's where those embers are spreading due to the direction of the wind.
Okay, so just a little bit of a mental note there for you from the Sunday time frame through early next week. Check in with Meredith. Follow us here. Follow our social. She's going to be doing a lot. Here's a little more.
3, 2, 1. And liftoff of NOAA's GOES-R, America's most advanced weather eye in the sky.
The launch of one of 4 weather satellites that will be in sync with the Earth's rotation and send back important weather information in a way like we've never seen before.
NOAA likes to communicate it as a difference between black and white television and high definition television. It's a substantial change.
These satellites are huge upgrades, providing 3 times the number of spectral channels, 4 times the resolution, and sending back data 5 times faster to aid meteorologists during crucial weather events.
You know, hurricane tracking, hurricane predictions, and as well as our geostationary lightning mapper will help with with tornadoes and lightning and severe storms, earlier predictions for that. So actually that'll help life and property, basically.
GOES-16 is currently monitoring the Western Hemisphere's weather, and there will be 3 more joining it over the next decade to watch over nearly half the planet. Right now, 2 of the GOES in the next series of satellites going up into orbit is at Lockheed Martin. You have GOES S, which is this big area right behind me. It's actually almost ready to go. And then you have half of GOES T, which is going to be assembled in months to come.
Once we start the assembly process, it takes us about 2 years to assemble and then send it through a rigorous test program.
Making sure the satellite can handle conditions in space, withstand worst-case scenarios, and can do its job once it's in orbit.
There's a total of 6 instruments on it. 2 of them, the Advanced Baseline Imager and the Geostationary Lightning Mapper, do what we would call terrestrial weather, where they're looking at the weather on Earth.
And on an even bigger level.
There's 4 other instruments that look at space weather, how the sun affects the environment on the Earth.
Impacting more than 300 million people across the United States.
It's been a privilege for all of us that work here to work on something that affects that many people on a daily basis.
What a beautiful stretch of weather it has been here across the upper Midwest. Lots of sunshine, warmer temperatures. And I'll tell you what, as we go through this weekend, temperatures will be on the increase across many cities, including Minneapolis, and across portions of the Great Lakes as well, before we come to a crashing stop toward next week. A strong cold front is coming through on Tuesday, and those temperatures will come to a crashing low over the next few days by about 20 degrees or so. So let's embrace the warmth and the sunshine while we have it, especially if you're a fan of it. I know many folks are. It's a gorgeous day out there across Stoughton as you went through your Friday. Many cities had temperatures above average too. Minneapolis maxed out at 51 degrees, well above your average for this time of year. And as you went through parts of Wisconsin out toward Michigan, temperatures were into the 40s and 50s. Des Moines at 56 degrees. Then overall, with pretty much quiet weather in place, we haven't had many reports of precipitation here across the upper Midwest region. This will begin to change moving into next week. So we still have time between now and then to really embrace the nice weather that we have here before those temperatures. And I'm talking about that winter chill returns into the region. Saturday morning, we're starting off into the 20s and 30s for the most part there. The only exception is to the north out toward Bemidji, where we are expecting those temperatures starting off near 18 degrees. A weak disturbance passing through. That means some clouds across eastern Wisconsin into the UP. Not much precipitation with it, though. If any, it'll be light and variable as it continues to pivot across the upper Midwest region. With that said, high pressure behind it builds into your Saturday morning. And that will result in clear skies across the entire upper Midwest region. So Saturday is going to feature abundant sunshine there and warmer temperatures as this ridge of high pressure moves off to the east. When you have a ridge of high pressure sitting over the Ohio Valley, it results in a southerly flow here through most of the upper Midwest region. That will help transport some of the warm air that we have across the Great Plains northward. In areas like La Crosse out toward Minneapolis, we'll see temperatures warming up a bit more moving into the weekend. Saturday afternoon, temperatures close to Friday, near 50 degrees there for Minneapolis. La Crosse at 50, Green Bay at 48, Davenport at 54. North areas like Duluth into Bemidji, temperatures into the upper 30s, near 40 for a high. So Saturday still looking to be pretty quiet and bright out there. You can see Saturday afternoon with the high pressure in control, that thunderstorm risk is non-existent across this region. And then we're going to be following our next storm system coming through Sunday into Monday. Sunday's time frame, we have a surge of some warmer weather making its way northward. With this, though, comes some instability. That means more clouds and more rain showers. That will be increasing there throughout your day Sunday. So if you have plans this weekend, Saturday is likely to be the pick of the weekend before these clouds return across the area for Monday. Monday morning, you see some areas there starting off with some clouds, some rain showers there, but in the warm sector, these temperatures will be warming up. It's this cold front, though, that will bring that return to winter-like temperatures to the upper Midwest. And Sunday, before that cold air gets in, temperatures warming up further in the warm sector. So 53 degrees in Minneapolis, Des Moines near 60, Sioux City near 60 degrees as well before those temperatures come crashing down. It's this cold front that slides through Monday. Behind it, cold enough temperatures will result in a changeover from rain over to snow across portions of northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and perhaps some minor snowfall accumulation there too as we move over the next 48 to 72 hours. Behind that, you can see there more clouds and eventually some clear skies as that winter-like air mass begins to set in. Monday is that transition day, so you can see that temperature gradient as that cold front slides through. Monday to the north, temperatures maxing out in the lower 30s, so below freezing, south of which Minneapolis is right on that line, so upper 40s, 60s across Iowa and 40s and 50s eastward. Tuesday is the big change in the upper Midwest in terms of temperatures. Look at this. From Monday to Tuesday, significant temperature change, 17 for a high temperature in Bemidji. We'll add a little bit of wind to that. Wind chill values will be in the single digits at times across northern Minnesota through Tuesday afternoon. Mason City at 30, Minneapolis, high temperature. We go from the 50s or upper 40s near 50 into the 20s for high temperatures. And again, we can be even seeing some of that rain and perhaps some snow to get that transition of what seems like to be a mid-fall-like air mass to a winter-like air mass here for the upper Midwest. So Minneapolis will be into the 20s for quite some time from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Overnight lows in the single digits and teens there. Milwaukee temperatures crashing from up to 50s down to the 20s as well. Drying out though.
And we're so glad you could join us as we have a lot to talk about, from weather to even going coast to coast with the next geostationary satellite that will be going into space.
Yeah, this is a big deal. We told you a lot about GOES-16, GOES-R, but this is GOES-S. Meredith has an exclusive opportunity to go and travel with this thing and make sure you're helping to get there safely, right?
Yep, I'm going to be watching it closely along with Ben, our video photographer, so we'll talk more about that coming up within the hour. But let's get right to the weather. How about Skunk Bay? We always get these views from this place. A little bit more of a dreary. Sometimes we get some gorgeous colors, but this is from Hinsville, Washington. We still love to see your pictures and videos, but we're still talking wintry weather and through Monday. And you can see the blue right here that is in Wyoming. That is a winter storm watch, so it's not a warning yet, but that does mean heads up conditions are expected to become winter storm conditions as we get to Monday. And then we also have a winter weather advisory, the purple right here, that goes from even parts of northern California into Oregon as well as Washington State. That means it's going to be one of those weekends you want to drive very carefully, especially in this area. And also know that we're not done with the rain or even the snow just yet. I know we've been continuing to get pounded with storm after storm in the Pacific Northwest, but as we get into Saturday morning, this is Pacific time, you can see that rain is going to continue from Seattle all the way down to Medford, and then you can see some of the blues and pinks. When the temperatures get below or around freezing, that's when we start to see it change over to more of a wintry mix or even snow as we get into the colder air moving in. This is Sunday at 5 a.m., and you can see there's a lot of snow in the forecast as we get into the day. Coming in behind this cold front is going to be some very, very frigid air. You're going to notice a difference. Sunday at 6 p.m., things will start to quiet down for Seattle finally, so there is some relief. We're just going to have to wait a little bit more until we get there. And then as we get into Monday, things really dry out very quickly, so you are going to get a break. You can see the little bit of blue off here. That's another area of high pressure moving in instead of another storm system, so that is going to be keeping things dry. Maybe some clouds moving in, but as far as rain and snow goes, you can see that really shuts off as we get into Sunday evening and into Monday. As far as forecast rain, we are looking at possibly getting a couple inches in some spots in the yellows here, and then snow. Well, those higher elevations, Steve, it looks like people are going to get their wish for some fresh powder for the slopes.
I know, a lot of wishes for that, especially because we've been pretty quiet for snow across the country, busier in the west and the northwest. Some of these pinks, by the way, foot plus in some spots, highlights in Washington and into Wyoming. Windy weather in California, Nevada, so we'll go through some of the other impacts with this next system that is already impacting our area and what it will produce. And some isolated gusts up to about 50 miles an hour, parts of the Sierra Nevada ridge line. And then on the longer term, because this system is going to be moving out and high pressure building in, we actually have fire weather concerns from Sunday through Thursday. So for that 5-day stretch in central and southern California, fire weather watch is already issued. So this is something that we will monitor as we go through the latter half of the weekend and the upcoming week for that fire weather potential. But of course, A lot of the fires are human caused, and do your part to prevent anything and notify officials if you see anything in that time period. Now, as this front progresses across the northwest sector of the U.S. and continues to slide down to the south and east, we'll see more of the mountain snow. Of course, our snow map looked busiest because a lot of it's going to stick to the mountains. Outside of that, the valleys may get some cold rain. And then by Tuesday, high pressure is going to dominate for the much of the upcoming work week as well. But those colors, we could get a 3 to 6 inch amount here and there across parts of the Colorado and Utah terrain, and even into parts of the upper Midwest. Watch this. Watch this area right here, because we could get 2 to 4 inches somewhere in this area Monday morning, which may cause some delays in terms of travel and school delays as well. Saturday, high temperatures. Here comes the cool air. Sunday, we still get the 65 Denver, but by Monday, it's 37, 35 in Salt Lake. And here across the west on Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, temps will generally be into the 40s and 50s, but right along the immediate west coast, that's where it'll be a little bit on the milder side. All right, coming up next year on Weather Nation, we're going to be talking about that big pattern change. You saw what it does to the western half of the country, but a big chill coming into the east. Welcome in the Weather Nation. Our top story, one of our top stories, is the cold plunge of air that we're expecting for this upcoming week. It's going to be really filtering down to the upper Midwest, parts of the central U.S., and into the northeastern United States, but it'll be felt pretty far to the south. I'm meteorologist Steve Glazier here to detail those impacts across the central United States. We're going to be experiencing some pretty big differences from what we will get into the near term for this weekend. So a pretty good shot of cold coming in by the middle to end of the upcoming week, especially as we get you into the Tuesday to Thursday time frame. So that is our top weather headline going forward, but let's focus on the weekend. Happy weekend to you, by the way. We are going to be enjoying a nice, warm, mainly sunny weekend. Then some rain is going to change that early in the week. Well, temperatures, again, have ranged from the low 50s to low 60s for highs on Friday, and they will warm up even more so each weekend day and even through Monday in some cases. We'll start off the weekend with temperatures pretty comfortable for this time of the year. Early December, we can really get some cold weather, and it does look like upper 20s to some low 40s for the range of temperatures. No big weather systems cruising through our area for Saturday outside of high pressure, so that's always nice if we have high pressure as our big weather system, and that's building in from the high plains. So as that comes around, again, you have your clockwise spin, winds coming out of the north. It may be to the east of this high, a little bit cool at times, but otherwise it's going to yield a mainly sunny sky, so that sun will warm you right up. Now, as this high on Saturday night to Sunday starts to move to the east, we have that clockwise flow bringing a wind out of the south and southwest back behind that, so that'll start to warm some areas up, especially farther to the west. So that's at a partly to mostly sunny sky on Saturday. We'll find temperatures anywhere from 49 Columbus to 62 Nashville to 62 Wichita. Still warm for this time of the year for sure. The high building into the Ohio Valley for the day ahead on Sunday, mainly sunny. A few periods of clouds for the weekend in different areas. Not expecting any rain really until the weekend's over. Wee hours of Monday morning, you can see west central Illinois tapping into a little bit of moisture right there, and heads up greater Chicago area into South Bend, and as you get into really Peoria to northern Illinois, Monday morning may feature a few isolated showers for your morning commute. Temperature-wise, we're going to be into the low 30s to mid 40s, low 30s to mid 40s for lows on Sunday. I think the noticeable one is the high temperature forecast for Sunday afternoon. We're rising through the 60s, 70s. Warm spots, Dodge City 72, Memphis 69, St. Louis at 64, and Springfield at 67. Even warmer than that is Liberal, 77 the forecast on Sunday afternoon, still mid-60s across eastern Kansas, and to our friends in neighboring state in the Missouri, 70 Joplin, and will still be at 64 in St. Louis. On Monday, a few morning showers, greater Chicago area. As we continue through the course of the afternoon, showers will start to pick up intensity by about 7 o'clock local time from Kansas City back up to Chicago once again, and continue to get a little heavier in the greater, we'll say Springfield, St. Louis, maybe even to Indianapolis area Monday night to Tuesday morning. Could be some heavier pockets of rain there. Starting out very mild on Monday morning. Temperatures in the upper 50s in spots before that front moves through. Into Ohio, still some 30s to 40s, but we will rebound here into the upper 50s to low 60s. 71 Memphis, 70 St. Louis for Monday, high temperatures. And then next week, or this upcoming week, as it continues to go on, it's going to feel much different. How much rain? Well, about an inch or two as that front passes by. Our model only goes out to Tuesday morning, so we'll update you through the weekend in terms of any rainfall accumulation forecast. But we'll go from 70 on Monday in St. Louis down to 48, which is about average for this time of the year, and then down to 37 for the high on Thursday. Cleveland will likely get some lake effect snow showers Wednesday, Thursday, as temperatures take about a 20 to 25 degree drop in the next couple of days after that. And then close to 70 in Nashville, Tennessee on Monday afternoon, and dipping back into the 20s for Wednesday night. So just make sure you're kind of mentally and physically prepared for those swings. In Paducah, expecting some scattered showers Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, dry and cooler. Indianapolis will see some isolated showers on Tuesday morning. And then temperatures stay below freezing for all of Thursday. And Cincinnati will get rain Tuesday. And also, again, a pretty decent temperature flux. We'll leave you with the extended in Goodland.